Hello everyone. Welcome back to IF Global Management Training. If you're gearing up for the PMP exam, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the secrets to passing the PMP exam and uncovering the essential materials you need to study to succeed. Ready to get started? Let's go. Let's kick things off with a common misconception. Many candidates dive straight into reading the PMBOK guide when preparing for the PMP exam. But I am not blaming you, it is the first thing that comes to mind. While the PMBOK guide is a valuable resource, PMI specified the material the PMP is based on. That material is the PMP Exam Content Outline. PMP Exam Content Outline, ECO, is divided into 3 domains. Each domain has many tasks and enablers associated with the task. Keep in mind that the list of enablers provided is not comprehensive. It is a simply few examples to illustrate the scope of the task. Therefore, it's crucial to understand this because the exam questions are crafted based on this outline, and not solely on the PMBOK guide or other reference books. Make a note. When you are planning to select your PMP preparation course, you need to choose a PMP exam preparation course that is based on the PMP exam content outline. In this video, we will discuss a high-level view of the PMP examination content outline to give you snapshots of some of the exam expectations. Now, let's dive into the people domain, which accounts for 42% of the PMP exam. This domain is all about managing and leading your project team effectively. In this video, we will discuss a high-level view of the PMP examination content outline to give you snapshots of some of the exam expectations. The task information is a high-level view and it should give you some prospects about the knowledge and the skills expected you to have to write the PMP exam. Now, let's go through each task in the people domain. To manage conflict, you should be able to identify where the conflict is coming from, its background, conditions contributing to the conflict, and its stage to address it effectively. Also be able to choose the best approach to resolve the conflict and ensure that all parties are reconciled. When you are leading a team, you are expected to define a clear vision and mission to communicate to your team while fostering a diverse and inclusive environment that values varied perspectives and behaviors. Additionally, you should apply servant leadership principles to support your team, choose an appropriate leadership style, for example directive, collaborative, and use strategies such as team contracts and reward systems to inspire and motivate your team effectively. To support the team performance, you must know how to assess if the team members are meeting their performance targets, also encourage and recognize their professional growth, and provide timely feedback to support their improvement. Additionally, you need to ensure that the performance improvements are achieved and maintained over time. To empower team members and stakeholders, you are required to delegate tasks and responsibilities according to team members' strengths while fostering accountability for completing tasks and meeting deadlines. Additionally, you must understand how to evaluate how well team members adhere to their responsibilities, and also define and assign appropriate levels of decision-making authority to them. Ensuring the team and stakeholders are properly trained is one of the project manager's responsibilities, so you should be able to identify the skills and knowledge required for the project, select appropriate training methods and resources to address these needs, and ensure that adequate resources are available for effective training. Additionally, you must be capable of evaluating the effectiveness of training programs and their impact on performance. Building a high-performing team is one of the challenges most project managers face. It requires you to possess many skills. Some of those skills can be the ability to assess the team's skills and capabilities to ensure they align with project requirements, identify and plan for necessary resources, and regularly evaluate and update team skills to meet project needs. Additionally, you must ensure effective knowledge transfer within the team to maintain continuity. Okay, to address obstacles, you should be able to identify and rank major issues that are hindering project progress based on their impact. Furthermore, you need to understand how to leverage your network to find and implement solutions, and also regularly review and address the status of these impediments to ensure they're being effectively managed. If you like our content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Now let's continue with the people domain. Our next task is negotiate project agreement. When negotiating, you are required to understand the scope and limits of negotiation agreements, clarify the key priorities and ultimate goals of the negotiation, and ensure that the final agreement meets these objectives. Also, you are expected to be actively engaged in the negotiation process and develop an effective strategy for successful negotiation. When collaborating with the stakeholders, you should know how to evaluate each stakeholder's needs for effective engagement and ensure these needs and expectations align with the project's objectives. Additionally, you are required to build relationships and influence stakeholders to support and achieve the project's goals. To build shared understanding, you are expected to identify and analyze the root causes of misunderstandings, gather input from all relevant parties to reach a consensus, and facilitate the implementation of agreed-upon solutions. Additionally, you must proactively address potential misunderstandings to prevent future issues. Some of the skills expected you to have in order to engage and support virtual teams. You need to be understanding the specific needs of remote team members, exploring various communication tools and methods for virtual engagement, and applying these methods to improve collaboration. Additionally, you must be able to continuously assess the effectiveness of your virtual engagement strategies. To define solid team ground rules, some of the skills to obtain are: skills to communicate core principles and expectations clearly to your team and stakeholders. Be able to foster an environment that promotes adherence to these rules and promptly address any breaches to ensure they are handled effectively. To effectively mentor key stakeholders, you need to have the ability to understand who the key stakeholders are and allocate time to support their development. In addition, you should actively seek and utilize opportunities to provide mentorship to both team members and stakeholders. To promote team performance through emotional intelligence, you need to understand how to utilize tools to understand team members' behavior and personalities and be able to analyze and adjust your approach to better address the emotional needs of key project stakeholders. Next, let's delve into the process domain, which accounts for 50% of the PMP exam. The process domain is for managing the technical aspects of your project, as it covers a broad range of tasks essential for effective project management. Let's explore a high-level view of the knowledge and skills expected to know each task in the process domain. To execute a project with the urgency needed to deliver business value, you should be able to identify opportunities to deliver value-added components of the project early and frequently. Continuously evaluate how the project's outputs align with business objectives, and able to assist the team in breaking down tasks and making incremental deliveries. To manage communications effectively, you should understand each stakeholder's information needs and preferred communication methods. Select appropriate tools and frequencies for communication, ensure that project status and updates are conveyed clearly and timely, and verify that stakeholders comprehend the information and provide feedback. To assess and manage risks, you need to identify various strategies for risk management and continuously evaluate and prioritize risks based on their probability and impact. To engage stakeholders effectively, you need to be able to assess the stakeholders' power and interest levels to gauge their impact, group them based on their influence and project impact, and develop tailored engagement strategies for each stakeholder. Additionally, you must create and implement a plan to manage stakeholder expectations and validate its effectiveness. To plan and manage the budget and resources, you need to calculate the budget based on project scope and previous experiences, anticipate potential financial issues, and prepare solutions. You are required to track budget deviations and adjust as necessary through governance processes while ensuring effective allocation and management of project resources. To plan and manage a schedule effectively, you should have the knowledge to determine the duration and dependencies of project tasks, leverage past project data for scheduling, and develop the schedule according to the chosen project management methodology. Additionally, you must track progress, make necessary adjustments, and ensure alignment and coordination with other ongoing projects. To effectively plan and manage the quality of products and deliverables, you need to acquire skills to define the quality criteria for project deliverables, suggest improvements based on identified quality gaps, and regularly assess and ensure that the project deliverables meet the defined quality standards. To the chosen project management methodology. To plan and manage scope effectively, you should identify and rank project requirements by their importance, be able to decompose the project scope into manageable components such as a work breakdown structure, and track scope changes to ensure the project stays within its defined boundaries. To integrate project planning activities effectively, you must know how to merge plans from various project phases to create a cohesive strategy, evaluate the integrated plan for dependencies and business value, and also able to use data to make informed decisions. Additionally, you need to identify and include essential information necessary for project success. To manage project changes effectively, you should have the skills to know when to accept changes and how to follow change management practices. Also, develop and implement a strategy for handling changes according to the methodology. Furthermore, you should be able to adjust the project as necessary to accommodate changes while keeping it on track. When it comes to planning and managing procurement effectively, you should be able to identify and communicate the required resources and oversee supplier relationships and contract management. At the same time, you need to know how to develop a procurement strategy that aligns with project needs. Also, able to create solutions to ensure the timely and efficient delivery of procured items. To manage project artifacts effectively, it is required to define which artifacts are needed to manage the project. Ensuring that the project information is kept up to date and promptly accessible, also continuously reviewing and improving the processes for managing these artifacts. To determine the appropriate project methodology, you are expected to have skills to evaluate the project's complexity and scope to select the best approach, whether predictive, agile, or hybrid fits the project needs. You should also be able to tailor strategies to project needs and apply iterative and incremental practices throughout the project lifecycle to ensure effective execution. To establish a project governance structure, you are required to know how to create a governance structure that aligns with organizational practices and defines clear paths for escalating issues, including specific thresholds for when escalation is necessary. When it comes to managing project issues, you need to recognize when risk is escalating into an issue and implement effective solutions to address these issues. Also, collaborate with the team to determine the best way to resolve the issues. To ensure project continuity through knowledge transfer, you are expected to know how to clarify team roles and responsibilities and set clear expectations for collaboration and knowledge sharing. Also, define a plan for transferring knowledge between the team and stakeholders. During project or phase closure, you need to have the ability to create criteria for successful completion and ensure all project aspects are ready for transition to the next phase or operations team. Also can finalize all activities, for example, documenting lessons learned, closing out procurement, and releasing resources. Next up is the business environment domain, which constitutes 8% of the PMP exam. This domain focuses on how external factors and organizational changes impact your project. Let's dive into some of the knowledge and skills required to have in this domain. To plan and manage project compliance, you need to have an understanding of the compliance requirements, such as security, health and safety, and regulatory standards. Also, categorize these requirements for effective management, able to identify potential risks to compliance, and implement methods to ensure adherence. The project manager should also understand the consequences of non-compliance, develop strategies to address compliance needs, and measure regularly so that the project adherence to the standards. When it comes to evaluating and delivering project benefits and value, you are required to identify and document all project benefits, assign the owner who is responsible for these benefits throughout the project lifecycle, and also put a system in place to track and measure the achieved benefits. Moreover, you should be able to assess various options for delivering the project's value and keep informing the stakeholders about the progress and the project benefits. To evaluate and address the impact of external business environment changes on project scope, you need skills to monitor factors such as new regulations, technological advancements, geopolitical shifts, and market trends. Also able to assess how these changes affect your project scope or backlog. At the same time capable of prioritizing the adjustments and recommending modifications and their impacts on schedule and cost. Evaluate and address external business environment changes for impact on scope. Support organizational change. To support organizational change, you need to understand the organization's culture in order to manage and support change effectively. Determine how organizational changes impact the project and identify required actions to address these effects. Additionally, you should be able to assess how your project impacts the organization as a whole and plan actions to manage these impacts accordingly. If you would like a more in-depth explanation about any of the domains, check out ifgmt.com. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video. In the meantime, feel free to subscribe at ifgmt and leave a comment below to let us know how your studying is going.